that, TJ. Hey,
Hey.
TJ, can you hear us?
Go on. Hold on.
Yeah. I can't be home at 6:30. So
You hear me?
alright. Yeah, I can hear
You're
you.
early.
Can you hear me? Can
Yeah, I
you
can
hear me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
Can hear
nod. If you can't, yes, you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can't hear you. What's the point? Hold on.
You can't hear me.
All right.
And we're live. TJ
Okay.
can't hear us.
So let's introduce the guest, Carl. You're right. Back
Hey,
again.
Carl.
Yeah, how you doing, guys? Yeah, the Spurs train keeps on rolling, doesn't it? So we keep rolling in a happy mood for once.
Yeah. Eugene, you're right. Back on the show.
Honestly, no. I don't know. No, it's a weird thing. I went to holidays. I had a nice holiday in Vietnam, right? I was in Da Nang and all that. Came back, fell sick, and nowadays when people fall sick, they don't recover in 3 days anymore. It's like it comes back and off, and sometimes you feel like, and then sometimes it's okay, So I'm just trying to ride through it. Yeah. Yeah.
And then Ellie, you're back on the channel after very.
Thank you very much for inviting me, Kaz.
Yeah.
I'm like sporting some injuries from the Sheffield United game, and I wasn't even on the pitch.
What happened?
Honestly, right, I was celebrating Brennan Johnson's goal, and I came down to the bottom, and all these fellas just charged towards me. Now, normally I don't mind if men charge towards me. I like it. But these guys, they clobbered my shoulder. They clobbered the back of my legs. They got me in the ribs. Honestly, I came home and I was battered and bruised, but I don't care because we won. Come on, you Spurs.
Yeah, do you guys see the scenes, right, when we beat them in the last minute? It was crazy. Honestly,
I videoed them. Flipping madness. It was so exhilarating, right, that I had to stay there. Even though I was injured, I just stayed there and watched it all, filmed it all, went to the concourse. It was fabulous. It was brilliant. Unbelievable scene.
It was a crazy win. Honestly, it was actually crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And TJ, you're right.
Hello, beautiful. How you been?
Good.
Yeah.
Can you hear us
I'm
now?
good, man. I'm good.
Thank you.
Okay, we can hear you. Don't worry, we can hear you.
You can hear me. There's no point in wearing this because I'm hearing it from my TV, but I'm not hearing it from my headset. But how you guys been, man? Yeah.
Man. We're happy. We're on the happy clapper.
Yeah, I am really happy in it. It's a breath of fresh air, man. We've got a manager that plays the Tottenham way, and let me be honest with you, we haven't had this Spurs team like this in a long while. So I'm just glad that Postecoglou's doing well. The real challenge will be against teams like Arsenal, teams like Liverpool. I'm pretty confident. I'm not going to jinx it, but I'm pretty confident we might steal a result at Arsenal.
All right, okay. So first of all, I thought we'd talk about the Sheffield United win because I haven't actually done a stream on here for about a week. So Carl, do you think, first of all, that the manner in which we won the game will affect our performance on Saturday? Just to win it in that manner, I mean.
No, I don't think so, because I know the result and the timing of the goals makes it look like we kind of stole that game from the snatch victory from the jaws of defeat, but that wasn't the case on Saturday at all, because on another day that game could have been a 4-5-1 win. If a better finishing, if we'd taken some of our chances, if we get the penalty that we should have got in the first half as well, then that game could have been and finished a lot more comfortably than it did. The good thing that comes from that win is the momentum it keeps giving us going into the Arsenal fixture, because a defeat in that game, even though the performance wouldn't have been bad, a defeat heading into the Arsenal game would have been a massive blow for us, especially at home to a team like Sheffield United. So I think the bigger thing was just the fact that it keeps momentum going, but we can come away saying it was a good performance still. It wasn't one of those performances where, like last year when we had people like Bournemouth come in, where you're actually going, well, even if we nick a win somewhere, we weren't great. We were really good on Saturday. So I think that manner of the performance was good. And I think ultimately the win just keeps that momentum and good feeling going around the club as we head into probably what's going to be the biggest game of the season so far, and one that will be a real test. So it was vital to get that win heading into this game.
And Eugene, your thoughts on that win?
I'm going to be a party pooper here, right? Okay, to tell the truth, it's going to be like this now. We took 98 minutes to break them down, okay? 98 minutes to break a Sheffield United down that low blocked us. We did perform, but all the performance we did, we couldn't score a goal until we made the changes, until Richarlison came on, until Perisic put in that cross in where he headed in. Guys, I understand the happiness because of the last minute thing that we won, but that is part of the emotion. But if you take that out and if you watch that game and analyze it properly, we conceded a goal again. Our defense switched off in the throw-in. And kudos to the guys who stuck to the plan and wrote it out and got us the win. But if you look at it in depth, right? 98 minutes, Sheffield United low blocked us, and we couldn't break them down. You get what I'm saying? And we were at home. And of course, they were dumb enough to waste time here, waste time there, waste time all over the place. That gave us accumulated time, right? And I am happy that we won, but I am still fearful that it took us such a long time, right, to break a Sheffield United down. And that was Sheffield United. Imagine if that was a stronger team, what would happen? But I will still accept the win. I'm happy, right? But 98 minutes, guys, 98 minutes, it shows that if a team low blocks us, right, and I don't think the Solomon and Son combination will work because the balls aren't coming from the top. We can't get it low across. Son can't do that thing, right? If we play a team like Arsenal, maybe it's more open, then maybe we need a Son and a Solomon, right? But if we play a team, something like, you know, a lower, let's say an Everton comes to White Hart Lane and they sit back and they low block us again, will we be able to break them down? That's my fear, right? And maybe we rode our luck and we were lucky, and you know, but I understand. We will have to take it as it is, and we did win. So I'm happy for that, but I'm a bit worried that it took us such a long time. Yes, tell the truth, right? The referee was, I don't know, he was on Mars or something like that, right? He was officiating another game. You know what I'm saying? And the penalty, that penalty, right? It wasn't a penalty, and I don't even understand what VAR is doing nowadays, right? So
asleep.
Yeah, I don't know, or maybe just part of the, you know, my conspiracy theory where, you know, yeah, that's how it goes, right? But I'm happy for the win, but I'm a bit worried, right? And if the injuries come in, will we still be able to perform like that? So let's see how it goes. Like I said, I'm hopeful, but no expectations this season. That's all.
Ellie?
I've got to follow that.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to come from a different angle, right? I'm not saying because I was at the match, I've got a different perspective from anybody who watched it on the TV. But I saw so many things off the ball, so many antics from those Sheffield United players to put us off our game. But you know what? Basuma and Sarr, right, they stuck to the game plan, right, and they found a way through. It might have taken us 98 minutes to break them down, because we didn't break them down because a lot of reasons. Do you know when you get those games where it's stop, start, because the referee's not controlling it? They're putting us off our game deliberately with their obvious shithousery, especially from their goalkeeper. And we got a very young side. I was very proud of them, regardless of when we got the victory, that we got the victory over the line. Because a lot of teams who've had more experience than them and played a lot against low block teams haven't been able to get us that win. So I'm taking my hat off to all those young players, Udoji, who pressed and got us on the front foot to make that second goal. Yeah, I think that was fabulous, right? So sometimes in football, you have to grind out a result. But I think we grinded it out very intelligently. right? Because we didn't lose our head. The only one really who was getting shackled was Maddison. And I was shouting from the stand because I was right near the front. I was saying, Maddison, get your head in the game. Get your head in the game. Because if you lose your head, you lose the game. Especially when you've got that Maddison, who is like a spider who creates everything for us. You know, he's like he's pinning things, isn't he? Creating space. We needed him on side, not arguing with the referee, right? So I'm proud of our players to get that victory, and we go to the London derby, the North London derby, with our heads up, cock a hoop. We should be positive as well because we've got the minerals to beat them. It's not like we haven't got the skills to beat them. And we've got Basuma. What a player. What a player. I love him. I even love him more than Maddison, and that's saying something. Yeah.
TJ, did you watch the game?
My stance is kind of similar to a lot of other Spurs fans. What a good game we played, you know. It's a breath of fresh air to know that we're going to fight to 110, 15, 16 minutes, whatever a game is now, you know. So in that instead, we dug deep and we played football. You know, we need to still remember we need to calm down as Spurs fans because it's still a process. He's only had 5 games in charge, so we still need to remember that. Yes, we are playing good football, but it's not where he wants us to be yet. Again, you're talking about Sheffield United that sat back, and I don't know what that referee was smoking, man. But I was getting pissed off, bro. You know what?
TJ,
yeah,
shall I tell you something interesting? I'll let you finish. Just give me time. So my dad has watched for 40 plus years, right? And he told me that was the worst refereeing performance he's ever seen in his life.
Bro, believe me, that guy had a spliff in his mouth, man. Big man thing, he was so poor, bro. He was drunk. He didn't know nothing. Like, cool. I get why VAR is here, but when you have such poor officials and they're not calling anything, there was like about 11 yellow cards. You know, he didn't have no control in the game. You know, that goalkeeper, brilliant performance from him. I have to put my hands up. Really good performance from him. You know, he wasted time. He done what his team basically done, but he should have had a red card, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He should have had a red card.
Yeah.
He should have recorded for his action. You won't give away that free kick, remember? Yeah.
So, again, I really enjoyed the result. You know, we deserved it. We were hands down the best team. You know, through the whole 110 minutes, 90 minutes, or whatever you want to call it. You know, we were the best team. One thing I would say, also, sorry, say that again.
I didn't say anything.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, I must be hearing things. Sorry. Yeah, sorry. But you know why I'm looking over there? Because my screen is over there, innit? So I'm looking at the camera, but I'm not looking at you guys, innit? So I don't know who's talking, innit? One thing I would say, it's great that Richarlison got his goal and his assist. Hopefully that will give him confidence. I don't want to jump the gun and say, yo, let's put him in. No. He has to build on this, you know, and see, once he gets his confidence back, so I think he's going to come good. I've always said this. I've said this to you guys. Richarlison is the player that plays in the middle. I've said this, but I've kept my stance, and I've been keeping my stance. Maybe I'm the only Spurs fan that has said this, innit? Postecoglou likes a striker like Richarlison. You know, yes, cool. He's not scoring the goals, but off the ball, he runs his socks off. You know, people like
brings on to my next point, by the way. Perisic out for the season. So I'm kind of belief that Perisic gets the best out of Richarlison. Do you think that will affect him at all, TJ?
Yeah, 110%. Sorry for carrying on. I'm gonna end it in 5 minutes.
No, it's fine,
So
it's fine. It's the next page.
again, Perisic injury. That's a big blow for Tottenham. You know, he is secretly one of our best performing players. You know, secretly he's one of our best. A bit like an off the bench player. His cross. We don't have anybody that is technically good enough to cross the ball, and he provides. I don't know how much chances a game. You know, I'm not a stat pad, but what I see from Perisic, we're gonna miss him, and it's a big injury. This is a career-ending injury, so I feel for him. You know.
Do you
Brennan,
think we've lost options off the bench though? Because, like, do you know what I mean?
No, I would disagree with that point. No. You know why? Because we still have people like Brennan Johnson. We still have people like Brian Gill. What are they doing at Tottenham if they're not going to come on and get a chance? This option thing, that a lot of the only area that is risky is the defense, because if one of our main centre backs gets killed, we don't have no options.
Okay, that's a bit extreme.
But one of our centre backs gets injured, we don't have no centre back option. But in terms of attacking positions, Perisic is going to be a miss, but we still have options. We still have a few wingers that can come on, you know. So it shouldn't be really a big worry. And I think during January transfer window, I hope we go in for another attacking player and a defender. We need them two positions sorted, in my opinion.
Ellie, do you think the Perisic injury will affect us, especially going into the Arsenal game? Because say we need to chase a goal, we don't have that option to bring him on to put in those crosses.
Yeah, of course, because he puts it on the sixpence, doesn't he? Perisic, right on your bonds. I mean, Charlotteson's going to miss him for sure. But, you know, like TJ said, we've got other players. Do you know what? Crossing, it seems to be the hardest thing in the modern game that I've seen. Like back in the day, like everybody could cross the ball.
It's true, yeah.
Nowadays, it's like they're supposed to be wingers who can cross. I'll tell you who's got a good cross on him is Porro.
Yeah,
he's not going to be playing that role, is he? He's going to be right wing back, right? And he's going to be assisting the attack, but he's going to be doing a lot of defending tomorrow. On Sunday. So, yeah, I just think he's a big loss for the assists and also for an impact player, because he does impact matches, even when he starts the impacts, but not as much. But, Brian Hill, what are we doing with him? Like TJ said, what are we doing with him?
I think he's not back till next month. I was reading today.
He's still injured.
Why are we letting? Is he injured or what? Why is he off for a whole month?
He's injured. He was injured from the summer, I think. Right?
Okay, so now we've got a chance to bring in Johnson, haven't we? Yeah, and let's see what he can produce. So it's a loss, but we have to take it on the chin. We've got to not worry about it too much and get on with our game, because we've got plenty of other players who can influence games. That's one thing for sure. Yeah.
Carl, your thoughts on Perisic getting injured?
Well, it is a blow, isn't it? Because like I say, if you're suddenly turning and looking at players like Gill, then you're in big trouble for the remainder of the season, because that guy's not going to come in and have any impact, at all this season. And I don't think he's probably in Angie's plans, given the signing of players like Johnson. If you think Gill's going to come and do something, you don't go and sign Johnson and bring him into the squad. So Perisic injury is a massive one for us, because he does offer you that option from the bench. He's not going to start a game, because you're not going to drop, the players that are starting right now. But he's someone you can bring on and know that he can have an impact and affect the game, like he did Saturday with the cross. There's no other player in that squad that can put a corner in like that or deliver a cross the way Perisic does. So, it is a bit of a blow. It's something that, we were looking good. I don't think he was going to start many games, but he's great to have there to bring off with his experience And like I say, a game like the North London Derby, you might be looking to a player of that experience to come in and settle things down if either one, they're not going the right way, or two, as we say, we need an option from the bench to come on and maybe help us chase the game. So it was a big blow. The worry for him is, I think at his age, that is a massive injury to have at that age and stage in your career. And, you know, a younger man can come back and probably get over it a lot quicker. My worry would be that that could possibly be the injury that causes Perisic to have to look at, you know, how long he's got left in the game.
Because he was linked with Hadget's split. Correct if I'm wrong. He was linked with Hadget's split, right?
Yeah. I mean, I would think, you know, let's face it, this will be the last season we see Perisic. I don't see him beyond this season. So that's the biggest shame as well, because, you know, the fact that this might have been his last season at the top level, the elite level, might have now just come to an abrupt end, unfortunately. And as I say, he was just helping us provide some useful backup and assists. And we're going to lose that now, probably for the remainder of the season.
Eugene, I kind of want to bring this other point up, because obviously Kulusevski moved into the middle late in the game, right? And I thought personally, someone who's been championing this for the past since Andrew's joined, really, to move Kulusevski into the middle.
Yeah, you've been saying this every single day, bro.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Marlon's sick of it anyway, but the group chat is the same thing. It's like, move Kulusevski into the middle. But do you think, say, if Kulusevski was to move into the middle permanently and Johnson was to take the place on the right, for example, Eugene, and now we're short of an attacking player on that side regardless, with Perisic's injury, do you think the club might go out and sign an attacking player in January at all?
To tell the truth, right, January is still too far away. You know, to tell the truth, if we do go and sign a replacement for Perisic, I wouldn't mind that. But at the moment now, I'm looking at now, right, with him gone, right, it gives us a less of an option to pick up. Can Johnson play on the left and cross the balls like Perisic do, or do we have to rely on Solomon, because Solomon has not shown that he can actually do the balls that Perisic do?
He plays more intricate stuff, really.
Yeah, so he's more like the 1-2 guy, and you see, the link between Son and Solomon is good when Son is in the middle and Solomon, that's where they combine well, right? But like in the game during the Sheffield United game, they just low blocked them and marked them out of the way. So that's why if Perisic came in and you changed with Richarlison, so we gave them we gave us a different dimension of the attack. But at the moment now, with Perisic gone, right, who is going to do those cross going in? You take Son, put Son on the left. We've seen him the first 3 games, he couldn't do it either. Right, for Richie, you see, so that's one of our weakness coming in, right? So at the moment now, as I see, the next 2 games won't give us that much of a headache on that, because teams like Arsenal and Liverpool, they will come at us and we will go at them. So it gives a wider space for Son to run into, you know, instead of using his head, he's got more chances to use his feet. Solomon and Son will work well, but of course, if we still can't break them, like, maybe we are 1-0 down in the Emirates and we need to change the dimension of the game. We don't have Perisic there to change the dimension of the game. So that's going to be a sad part there, right? And Bryan Hill, he ain't coming back so soon, number 1. Number 2, will Bryan Hill be able to take up the mantle of Perisic? I don't think so either, right? Bryan Hill, when the wind blows, he floats.
But can I just say something? Yeah, sure, add on to what you were just about to say. But I've obviously done my research on Postecoglou past Tottenham, you know, when you watch majority of his teams, you know, crossing isn't the biggest build-up play. Whereas, look, I'm not saying we're not gonna cross the ball. It's tactically, like, when you're playing football, you have to cross, right? But when you see the build-up, it's not about crossing, you know? So look, again, I get what you're saying. It changed the dynamic. We can implement crossing and all of this. Yeah, right, I get that, right? But, however, if that's not the style that Postecoglou actually wants to play in the future, we need to get players that can play his style, right? So I always believed this from the get-go. From the start of the season, and even since Perisic has just gotten injured, he's not going to be in Postecoglou's plans. Yeah, we see him playing off the bench, but I don't know if this is confirmed, but he was meant to be a part of a centre back deal. You know, he was meant to go on transfer in January. That's what I was told, didn't it? I don't know if it's actually
had you split.
You had to split to sign the other Croatian boy who's supposed to come in. But now if he's injured,
Now that kills the deal, right? So regardless of if we were going to lose him now or lose him in January or lose him forever, because this ACL injury, this injury is a bad injury. This is career injury, you know. I don't think it's going to affect us that much, you know. I think really and truly, we need to worry about our back line. Our back line is what needs surgery, in the sense of, we've got Romero, we got Vertonghen in his prime. I'm calling him Vertonghen. I'm not even calling him Van der Ven. He's called Vertonghen. Yeah? Yeah? Yeah, we got Vertonghen in our back line. So, but the drop off after these two defenders.
Oh yeah, you're right. You're 100% right about that. Yeah.
Is more of a worry than Perisic, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And
agreed.
For me, this is why I mentioned Brian Hill. You know, if Brian Hill is not in Postecoglou's plans, let's hope he goes during January. Otherwise, he's just holding a space at Tottenham. I've got a rogue. I've got something crazy that just came to my mind while we were talking about Perisic. This is ludicrous, but if we're desperate, Pepe is available.
Jadon Sancho
on a free.
Jadon Sancho is one being linked, isn't it? Yeah.
Jadon Sancho as well. Think about it. So, I'll be up for Jadon Sancho. I don't really care about all the madness that's going around in Man United right now. I would love Jadon Sancho. He is a technically gifted player. He's the his stats are like he's got a double, a triple, or something in Dortmund. That's 20 goals, 20 assists, and 20 created chances or something like that. You know, he's one of 4 people to only do that. Thierry Henry, Messi, obviously himself, and there's one other person. So he's a technically gifted player, Jadon Sancho. So if we're actually going to go for a play like him, or I'm not saying it's confirmed, but are we really missing Perisic? That's my point.
We are until January.
Yeah.
Because January is a long way away. So, you know, whether you can say whether he's a long-term future here or not, and listen, Jadon Sancho, Ndombele is technically gifted, but the guy just doesn't have what it means to make it at the top level. And you're seeing that with Jadon Sancho, because he's never gone to United and yet commanded a consistent run of game. So there's something there telling you why the bloke hasn't done that in all that time there. But ultimately, until January, we are going to miss Perisic. We can't say we're not going to miss a guy, because the weekend showed you exactly why we're going to miss him up until at least
I'm going to just make my statement clear. It's not the case of miss, but for me as a Spurs fan, I predicted us minimum 5, 6, 7. You know, that was my predictions, you know? So, and I know it's a process as well. I know it's not going to go all smooth. Again, this season is more a case of establishing Postecoglou's style. I get we're going to miss him until January. But is it a killer of our season?
No.
But I don't think anyone's saying it's a killer, is it? But ultimately, when games are not going your way, you need players who can come and do something different. Ange can want to play all the nice fancy wingers he wants, but if that's never working in a game, at some point you need something different and someone who can come.
I was one of the people, TJ, who was saying that Perisic and Richarlison is, as a duo, they're like really good.
I don't think Richarlison's game is dependent on Perisic at all. I think we're giving Perisic far too much credit there. Richarlison just needs to get this goal might help Richarlison spring into action. That performance on Sunday. I don't think Richarlison's future is dependent that much on Perisic. It might not have been Richarlison who got that header on the weekend. It could have been another player. So I don't see the Perisic injury having any effect on Richarlison at all. Richarlison's biggest effect will come into play having scored that goal and got the assist, because that might be the confidence boost that now kickstart his season and makes him realise and have the self-belief and confidence to go on and score more goals, or just play the player that he was at Everton and does for Brazil. So I don't think this injury is going to have any effect on Richarlison at all.
All right. So I'm going to move on from the Perisic stuff. So who here actually watched the fans forum, like the whole thing?
No, man, that was too long, man.
I did. Okay, I'll ask you two guys first. Okay, so Carl, number one, what do you think of the whole exercise? I don't want to call it exercise, but the whole thing. Do you think the questions that were posed to him, any of them were that challenging? Do you think it was sort of monitored in the sense of what people could say and can't say? What do you think of Andrew's comments and Son's comments, and just obviously Levy's comments?
Well, I think it's
like a summary.
It's very well managed PR wise, isn't it? All the questions are well monitored, well looked out for. The people turning up to that event have probably
I didn't bother applying, by the way, so.
as such, haven't they? And like as you say. Ultimately they've got they will make sure they've got the crowd in that they want to make sure they've got in, haven't they? They weren't going to have any Levy out. They weren't going to suddenly invite people like Brian Daigle to that event, knowing that if they gave him a microphone and asked him to ask some questions, Levy would be put on the spot. So it is all very well PR managed. A lot of it you kind of have to take with a pinch of salt and think it's there's a lot of waffle and not really much proper information or real information being given out, and you're not finding out anything that the club don't want you to find out about what's going on in the background. And some of it is, some of it was just a little bit of a cringe fest, to be honest, with the presenter and the way he was being and talking with people, and that it all just felt a little bit cringe and very well PR managed. But that's what you expect. I mean, I think those events can hold some weight, but that's if you get the right people asking the right questions and actually putting some pressure on trying to find certain things out and why certain things have and haven't been done. And you never really got many, Daniel Levy's like a politician, is he? Well-trained politician. You never really get a solid answer to any of those questions.
I never felt like anyone asked anything that challenging, if I'm being honest. A lot of it went again to the Q&A with the fans. I know Ellie and TJ haven't watched it, but when you sit down and watch it, the first bit's also just obviously them talking between them, and then they give the last 30 minutes to the fans. Now, even obviously the questions between them has been more monitored, because obviously I have a feeling Levy gave him a list of questions you can ask, and he must have gone through some of them, because I'm speaking from personal experience. So I was lucky enough back in 2017 to interview Andros Townsend, right? And this is just a footballer, right? And I gave him a list of questions. Okay, I was lucky enough to go to his house. I doubt he's watching this, but it's a long story about how it happens. But so he noticed some questions I couldn't ask him, and he crossed them out. So because obviously he was the one being interviewed. So I imagine a similar sort of thing must have happened here. And the guy was employed by the club who interviewed them all. It's not someone just from Gary Neville or something, or someone off Sky Sports, so like you said, it's like it's scripted in some ways.
He was annoying. He was annoying. I watched a little bit of it, but he was annoying. I turned it off.
The guy,
when they entered, when he announced everybody in, bro, I turned it off. He was annoying. The host was annoying.
Yeah, he's a Spurs fan apparently.
Yeah, right, man. He don't know nothing about Spurs. He didn't even know how to say Son's name correctly.
But you know it was staged that when he announced Daniel Levy's name, no one booed. And if you had a mixture of real fans from if you had real fans, season ticket holders, and it was just a big group.
I didn't bother replying, so
I think, and certain people wouldn't have done, would they? Because like I say, you probably would have been checked, right? What's this guy? Has he got
what's
Twitter?
What's
Twitter he saying? There's hashtag Levy out. He's not invited.
The ballot.
Yeah.
Purple and gold anywhere. You're not invited.
That's right. Yeah.
Eugene, I thought I'd ask you next because you watched it too, and you'll be very brutal about it. What did you think?
Like what you guys said, right? Totally scripted, PR stunt, right? The questions, answers, and all that were all very, very well called bland, and and there was a lot of deflection, and there was stupid humor about what Madison can't drive his red car.
Red car.
And, why are you talking about things like that, right? So now the fans will be actually wondering, right? Does Madison have a red car? Right. So that's the thing. And then the other part is that the blame, he never blames anybody else. He never blames himself, but he blames everybody else, right? In all the questions. And like I told you, when in the first part, when I saw Ange walk in and he sat down, Ange wasn't comfortable there. Somehow or another, his face, you can see the expression.
Fed up. That's what I thought.
He looked tired, he looked fed up. He was like, I think I've got better things to do, right? I've got the North London derby coming up. What the fuck am I doing there? Right.
I find it ironic they decided to release it. They decided to do it just before North London derby and Liverpool.
No, and the smart part is, right, they're doing this right when Ange Boy is going well and when the fans are on a high.
Yes.
Why didn't they do it last year when Conte blew up just after the Southampton game while the sacked? Or why didn't he do it when Manchester when Newcastle smashed 6 goals at us? Right?
Yeah.
So
can I give you the answer? And we're gonna get cancelled if I give you it in words, but I'm gonna give you in a different language. Pussios, bro.
We don't want to get cancelled.
But Eugene, what I found very interesting was that he said fans put pressure on me to get a trophy-laden manager. Fans this, fans that. But hold on a minute, you're the guy.
He blames everyone else except himself. You get what I'm saying? Like, yeah. We what he said. Oh, during the Poch era, we were
close
lucky. We were close. Yeah, we were in the Champion League final, but we didn't win it, right? And then blah blah blah. Then he goes on. I'm being pressured. That's why I got in the trophy-winning managers, right? Because the fans pressure me, right? My God. But he didn't go and say that I brought in these managers, but I didn't give him the players to actually win things. Right? He left out a lot of things. Yeah. And then in the day, now we've got Ange. Everything's good.
And
let's wait 6 months and let's see what happens after that, right? When Ange starts losing.
And I thought I'd ask you something because obviously they had Ange there with Son and they had Beth England there with the manager of the women's team. Do you think it's interesting? Because I saw a question about a couple of girls asked Beth and the manager some questions about getting the women's team to play more at the stadium.
Oh no, there was this I think grandfather. He said that I've got a lot of granddaughters, right? And I'm hoping that if you could actually play more of the women's games in the stadium, the main Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, right? Then it came out with something. I think the manager answered something like, the big matches usually we will play there.
Yeah.
Right. We have to, be bigger and blah blah blah. Yeah.
Can I tell you? I'm going to tell you something off stream. It's to do with where I work in it, and I can
just don't
answer that question.
On stream,
I can't say it on here. I can't say it here in it, but I'll give you the reason why they can't play women games at Tottenham Stadium. Just remind me, and I'll tell you why. It's an actual reason why. There's a reason, and you're gonna laugh. You're gonna actually laugh.
Well, not enough money generated.
I can't tell you here, by the way. So off screen before we go, I'll actually tell you the reason. Just someone mention it to me, and I'll tell you.
All right. So Ellie, do you think that because obviously you're not are you part of the ladies? Now,
yeah, I'm their ambassador.
Yeah.
Right. So I was campaigning for the girls to be playing matches at White Hart Lane.
That's what I thought I'd ask you because
they initially agreed it, They initially agreed that we can play all our matches there. I think they've renegaded on that, and
they will never do it.
Now it's just some of the matches. All right, so
they will never do it. They will never do it.
Later, let us know.
So
I think there's certain matches they will, right?
At the White Hart Lane Stadium, I'm not going to call it the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, White Hart Lane, we played Reading, we played Manchester United at White Hart Lane. Who else did we play? That was it, I think. And the rest of the games were at Brisbane Road. But we had talks with them because her game too, as well, put pressure on the club to allow the ladies to play at White Hart Lane. And initially,
it's not the club, by the way. It's not the club's choice.
It's Tottenham Hotspur.
See, I can't say too much in it. Look, when I'm off stream, I'll tell you.
All right.
Yeah, because the stadium has got its own .com, isn't it?
Yeah. PLC.
Right, so I don't really want to touch on the women's game so much because TJ's got some information. We can talk about it after
off
the
stream.
But what I wanted to add about the meeting, right? So he basically, Levy's saying that he had pressure from the fans to get a big name in. So why did he then sack the big name manager who got us to the final?
Mourinho,
shamefully sacked him, right? And then brought in a relatively lesser manager in Nuno. If he had pressure from the fans to bring in a big name, it was only because it went hits up that he got rid of Nuno. So why didn't you bring another big manager in after you sacked Mourinho then and you went to Nuno? If you had so much pressure on you, yeah?
I remember that season.
Paratici, you got Conte, not him, not the fans. Paratici had it lined up anyway because Conte had already had his interview and he decided not to come at that stage. So it's all excuses with Levy. He wants to blame the fans.
Yeah.
Take the blame yourself, man. Take it on the chin. Put your hands up and said, I made the mistake as well by sacking Conte. At that time, you should have let him play.
He sacked Mourinho 5 days before the final.
I mean, Mourinho, he should have let Mourinho take us to that final. He deserved that, Mourinho. You know, he really did deserve it to lead us out. It wasn't fair on him. You know, and now he's backstabbing us everywhere he goes. Well, he's backstabbing Levy everywhere he goes anyway. So that tells you something, doesn't it?
TJ, I thought I'd ask you this question before we go on to some other factors before Sunday. So obviously he waited 6 years to become to do this again after doing the last fan forum. And the guy you don't like at the beginning, he said something about that. And wait 6 years. Wait, who's the cackling conference? Is that from New Eddie?
I'm not too sure.
It must be from Eddie. Yeah, okay, all right. Okay. Yeah.
You were saying something about 6 years.
Yeah, he said we haven't seen each other for 6 years or something, or this fan forum hasn't had for 6 years. Do you think there's a reason for that?
No, even to tell the truth, right? When he was when the host was saying 6 years thing, right? He was giving a whole narrative of, during that period we went through this, then it was COVID, and then it was this, and then of course they were asking about naming rights and all that. So that's why there's another.
So TJ, what did you think about it?
Let me be honest with you, innit?
Yeah.
You didn't want to face the fans. You should have faced it every single year. In my opinion, we should have it every single year.
You should have every 6 months.
Am I the only one? Am I the only one that disagrees with this?
No.
Tottenham is run by fans. We produce the money for them. So the littlest thing you can have is every single year you have a forum. You have something to say, okay, this is our plans for the future. But let me this is where I see it. Look, it's been terrible since Pochettino, we've just gone down. We've gone down. And and it's only getting it's getting better. Or I don't want to jinx it. I don't want to say it's getting better. I hope it gets better, But obviously, we're at a point where we're happy. Most fans are happy with the situation that we're in. So Levy's a businessman. He's not living on a rock. He knows that everybody's happy in it. So this is the best time to release it, especially before the North London derby, because if we lose the North London derby, let's just say another 6 years coming in. Because the North London derby means so much to Spurs fans. Majority, it's a big fixture. Whenever I look at the season, I look when we're playing Arsenal home and away. That's actually my first actually perspective of the season. Okay, cool. Arsenal's this day, Arsenal's that day. So it's one of our biggest fixtures. In my opinion, I put that fixture, Arsenal and Tottenham, at the top. Like one of the biggest fixtures in the Prem. So
I think in Europe, if I'm being honest.
In Europe, let's be honest with you. In Barcelona and Real Madrid, that's a big fixture. But other than that, there's no fixture that Dortmund and Bayern, but that's not really a big fixture. They sell to Bayern Munich. But what my point was, it's the best time to release it now, and let's just hope majority of the things that he has actually said. See, I haven't watched it, so I can't really speak on it. After this show, I'm actually going to watch it, and hopefully I don't bite my tongue, because the next show I'll rectify what I just said, innit? Yeah. But let's just hope most of the things he was saying were for Tottenham, for the future, goods and bads. I didn't watch it, so I don't have no opinion about it, But yeah, that's basically what you told me.
Carl, Arsenal playing PSV tonight, and do you think this game will affect Sunday's game at all? Do you see Arsenal, say, this is hypothetically speaking, right? So they lose today. Do you think there's more chance they beat us? Or if they win today, there's less chance? Or what do you think it will have any effect at all? Or
I don't think it does, because when the North London day, unless they suddenly was to have 6 or so big injuries come out of that game tonight, then I don't see any real effect. I think they'll win their game tonight, which will send them into the derby in a confident mood. And as we know, it all depends on how you turn up on the day, and at the moment, our record at the Emirates Stadium is absolutely shocking over the last few years. We've just never turned up and performed. And ultimately, they always seem to come out the starting blocks on fire. Or you always get the impression it feels like they just want it more. And we kind of get a little bit intimidated playing at the Emirates. And that's going to be the big test to see where Andrew's got this side, isn't it? Can we go to one of these big grounds and still play the sort of football that we're playing at the moment? And can we put in a good account of ourselves? I'm expecting to lose the game. I'll be brutally honest with you. I'm expecting this is going to be too much for us, and I think they'll come at us with too much intensity at the start of the game, and I'm still worried about us defensively. And if we give them some of the chances that we gave Sheffield United at the weekend, we won't get away with it. So we're going to have to be a lot better and more solid defensively. But even if we lose, I just want to see us go there and put up a good account of ourselves and play with some pride and put in a fight. If we lose 2-1, I can come away saying, well, listen, it was a tight game. We only lost it by the odd goal, and we gave them a lot of problems. If we just get blown away in this game, then I'm worried for still about where we're going this season and how far this team can actually go. If we can go there, give them a toe-to-toe fight, stand up to them, and even if we lose, I'll be more confident that it's a good sign for the rest of the season. If we just get embarrassed and brushed aside 3-0, 4-1, something like that, then I'm worried.
Eugene, do you think tonight will make any sort of difference?
I actually did a show earlier with Mani, right? It's the North London rival show, right? He says that most probably tonight Arsenal, I think Arteta will focus on, will have one eye on the North London derby.
So he will rest players, you think, tonight?
Right. To tell the truth, he doesn't have a choice to rest or not rest players. Some of his players are already injured, right? He doesn't have Martinelli there. Trossard will have to play. Martinelli might be coming back for the North London derby. So at the moment now, as I see this, it usually will have an effect, not now, because now it's still so early in the season. You get what I'm saying? If you're talking somewhere next year when, somewhere next year when the Champions League resume or something, or where they're still playing in the last stages of the group stages and all that, when they're gone through all the matches and they're tired and all that, then it might make a difference. But I think now it's too early to make a difference. And like what Kyle's saying, it's very correct. This Sunday coming up, I'll be happy we drew. Honestly, right?
I mean, in 10 minutes we'll know the Arsenal team actually. So if we can wait 10 minutes, we'll find out.
I'll be happy that we drew, and to tell the truth, and whether we have, whether we show up and account for ourselves and all that during the game, or are we just going to fall over and get humped like usually when we go to the Emirates? You get what I'm saying? But then I was talking to Mani, the last time we've won there is 13 years ago, 2010 November, right? And I think we beat them 3-2 or something like that, right? And
3-2, 2010, Yunus Kabul.
Yunus Kabul goal, last minute goal or something like that, right?
It's like 5 minutes before the end, I think.
So that was like 13 years ago. So I'm not sure this season we are showing promise, right? Even don't forget, Son was asked the question, right? How was the preparation for the North London derby? He was not sure yet. He said he's not sure yet. I was going, what?
That's not a good sign.
No, it's not. TJ, do you think tonight's game will
affect Arsenal? I didn't watch the forum, but after you just said that, I might even retract my statement. Look, I've always said this, innit? I feel like we are gonna see. Maybe I'm just optimistic. I don't know, man. Maybe I'm drunk. Maybe I'm just seeing butterflies right now. But I could see us winning 1-0. I could see us winning 1-0, and I feel like Ange is that manager to do it. I honestly believe it. He's like a father to all of the players. Like a father to the squad. And the way he speaks about his team, it just gives me confidence that there's something special about him. But again, I don't want to jump the gun because it's only been 5 games, innit? And if Son's not confident, then there's a problem. You need to be pumped for like North London derbies, For me to say, yo, we're gonna win, I need to see my players confident. And if that's what you've said, Son was like,
he was a bit.
Then for me, we are going to lose. But however, I want us to win, and I feel like we will win. So my predictions is just going to be 1-0.
But I was asking, sorry, do you think, before we get to the actual predictions at the end, do you think Arsenal playing tonight will affect the game at all?
Arsenal playing today? To be fair,
PSV.
To be fair, listen, let me be totally real with you. I think that's going to give them an advantage.
They're playing at home as well.
I think that's going to give Arsenal an advantage. Why? Because you might think, because we're resting for a whole week and then we're going to be playing the North London derby, the players are going to be more fit. However, match fitness is about playing games, right? And the more you play, the more better you get, the more, cool. For like my younger brother, I keep mentioning this. Playing games is so important to build confidence. And Arsenal this year haven't really started blowing away teams. They've been, I don't know, they've not been like last year. I can only judge last year. So for me, if they play today and they,
I know, you know why? I think it's because what Mani said. This season, right? Arteta has changed the system again. He's playing a 4-3-3. Last season they're playing a 4-2-3-1. So that's why they don't seem.
They moved Partey to right back.
Partey is injured.
I know, but they moved him to right back, and then Havertz has gone into midfield.
And I don't even think they were using Havertz nowadays, right? So because
he
the
got
lineup
last game, but I don't know if he played today. So.
The lineups that Manny was saying, most probably, even now the goalkeeper is a conundrum for them, right? Whether they're going to play Ramsdale, whether they're going to play Raya, right? And
Ramsdale.
Ramsdale will be playing in the Champions League. That's for very sure.
Is that what you think? Yeah.
Yeah, that's according to
I
Manny.
think Ramsdale's going to play Newcastle Derby. That's a North London Derby player.
Yeah, Ramsdale will play the North London Derby.
I hope he does, because I think it's worse than Raya personally.
Hard to say, right? But at the moment now, what Arsenal is going through, right? They don't seem to be maybe the too many new players coming into. Declan Rice needs to gel, right? They still need certain parts to move and fall into order and all that. So I don't know, but like what TJ is saying, I've got this funny feeling that we might win, but it is what it is, because based on history, right, we are shit there.
Yeah, 100%.
It's like our players walked through that gate, right, and the balls are all suddenly shrunk up and ran up their ass or some shit like that. Right, but I hope Big Ange will slap it all out of them.
Problem is, obviously we speak out like an open game, right? It could go, if you play an open game, I think, in my opinion at least, if we play such an open game, I think we'll lose, because I think Arsenal being at home and the firepower they have, I think they'll just outscore us.
See, but if Ange gives them all Viagra before the game, bro, we're gonna win. We're gonna win, bro. They're gonna slap them up. We're gonna win. But if it's a thing where Son's a bit iffy and they're not about it, then we will lose, isn't it? But I'm hoping we win, personally.
I was going to talk about this. So, Carl, we spoke about this a lot actually previously, but our record at the Emirates isn't great. And Martinelli, even though Eugene just said he might be back, but do you think there's a chance we might break this record that's been lasted for 13 years? I guess 13 years or maybe longer.
Well, I think there always is, isn't there? Because, no matter what year, you never know in football. We've gone there previous years where I haven't
Don't
given
worry,
us...
Ellie, my Skype crashed yesterday.
Yeah, we've gone there in previous years where I haven't given us a prayer and we've managed to get a result. So you can always go there, and we've certainly got the players and the team that can go and get a result. My worry is I don't think defensively we'll keep a clean sheet, because I still think we're a little bit too open at times. And like I said, Sheffield United, if you give Arsenal the chances that you gave them, you will get punished. So I don't think we'll keep a clean sheet, but we're more than capable of being able to go there and score 2 and maybe win 2-1. Or even come away with a 2-2 draw. So we can go there and get a result. But this is what I think we're entering into the unknown, aren't we? Because this is where we need to see what Ange can do and how he can set the side up, and, can he motivate them to go out? One of my big worries, and I think this is what will hinder us at the weekend, is we're very slow starters in games. And ultimately, in this game, this is a game that you can't start slowly in, because they're going to come at you. They're going to come out the blocks 100 mile an hour. They always do. And you can tell within the first 5 minutes, we're not at this whatsoever. And we've kind of started like that in games this season, going behind at Burnley, Sheffield United started causing us more problems than I would have liked in the first 10, 15 minutes. So we normally take about 15 to 20 minutes to suddenly get a grip of the game. And that's something we can't afford to do at the weekend, because in that 10, 20 minutes at the Emirates, that we could be 2-3 down by that point if they really come at us and we're not on the game. So we need to get out there and start fast. And as I say, this is Ange's biggest test, and I think we'll all find out where we really stand after this game at the weekend, because we're either going to come out still on the Ange train going, yes, this is it, we've got the right man, or we're going to come out of it saying, well, we got absolutely taken to the cleaners here. Actually, can we push as far as some of our fans are thinking we can this season?
Do you think, because I'm going to relate this to something personal, by the way, do you think it's psychological, though, more than just ability? And the reason I bring this up is I've got two examples. So obviously, when we last won at Arsenal 3-2 in the Premier League, I'm talking about under Redknapp, I had a belief in that side that we could say do that thing because we had players like Bale, Van der Vaart, Lennon, obviously, who was taken off that game. Defoe, who came on and changed to a 4-4-2. Obviously, Kabul and Gallas played like the games of their lives. I remember that day. Gomez had a good game, but I always felt, and this is a joke I had at halftime that game, and I also want to relate to this because we're talking about Arsenal away again. I was joking at halftime we're going to win 3-2, but it's mainly because I felt like we had the capability to the players we had then to do it. And I would think that's more psychological rather than just looking at the teams so if you could compare that team to this team, do you think there's the same ability, for example, compared to back then in 2010?
I think there is. If you look player for player, you've got the equality. What might also have become a factor is a lot of those years previously, we were always the underdogs in this fixture, and suddenly times flipped, and we suddenly became, Arsenal suddenly became the underdogs in that fixture, and that also puts that gives you a lot more desire. If everyone's writing you off and thinking, well, no, we don't think you've actually got much of a chance in this game, then that also makes you want to go out and prove a point. But I just think, because the fixture is so intense, if you don't match that intensity, the previous few fixtures we've played, Arsenal have come out with a real intent and a real intensity, and we've just never matched that.
No.
And ultimately, if you don't start a game with that intensity, it's hard to kind of find it suddenly and try and pick your pace up. You've got to start 100 miles an hour, get in that game. Then, if things start going your way, you can try and right now, let's just settle down and sensible, get reorganized. And I just don't think we've ever matched their intensity in the game, apart from when we played them at White Hart Lane under Conte, where the crowd were up for it. That was a hostile environment. And we came out with that point to prove, which is like, we're going to smash you and we're going to we're going to win this game. And since then, at the Emirates, I don't think we've matched them in that department.
Yeah.
Eugene,
but I think based on you talk about the mentality part, right? The only thing is that at this moment now, maybe the only plus thing is that we have about Vicario, Udogie, Van de Veen, Madison, Solomon, right? About Bissouma, Sarr. There are about 8 to 9 players in the first team, right? That doesn't have that psychological scar, right? They've been hammered by Arsenal these past 3, 4, 5 seasons. Players like Romero, Son, right? These are the old heads that has been there. Maybe this group of guys, right, with fresh mentality going in, right, not fearing, not having that fear of being smashed by Arsenal before, going in and actually do something, and maybe Andrew use that, right, to his positive.
I guess one of the other worries with that, though, could be that you haven't got players who've experienced this fixture before, like Vicario, Mickey van der Ven and Doji. They haven't had that hostile environment that they've had to go and face. But like I say, we're going to find out where we really are this weekend, because it's either sink or swim, isn't it? Those players are either going to thrive in that environment and come out on top, or they are going to end up shrinking, and suddenly we go, uh-oh, we're in big trouble. The one player who is massive in this game is Bissouma.
Yeah.
So I've got the Arsenal team
he
here,
can
by the way,
run that game. Then he will be so vital, Bissouma, at the weekend in that midfield. Because if he plays like he has all season long, I'm more confident than suddenly if he doesn't have the sort of game that he's been having.
Carl, I was doing a show earlier with an Arsenal fan, right? So we were comparing, right, Bissouma, Sarr, and Madison against Odegaard, Rice, and whoever is going to be there, right? Whether it's Havertz or Fabio Vieira, right? That's the midfield battle that we have to go through, Then if you have Saka on the right, right, that means Saka will be heading up against Udogie on the left. You get what I'm saying? So, and then then of course they will have players that we have to deal with. And if you go player for player, right, actually we are not that bad, right? But the problem, like, we come to the sense that when our players, once they reach the Emirates, right, their mindset, whether they are there, to play up to that 100. You know, when you go to the Emirates, you're not going to give 100%. You have to give that 105%, right, to match their intensity. You know, and let's hope that maybe if they do come out smashing the doors down and we actually stop them, that might hinder them. And then if we do something to them, that might actually knock them out of knock the wind out of them, and maybe we might get something out of it. But at the moment now, based on our record at the Emirates, we all don't see that, right? We already don't see that.
So the Arsenal team today, I thought I'd just read it: Raya, White, Saliba, Gabriel, Zinchenko. So it's the same
playing.
Yeah, Odegaard, Rice, and Havertz. And then got Trossard, Jesus, and Saka. So that's Jesus' first start, I think, since his injury.
You have to think, though, that they're going to play their strongest side, because ultimately you need to win your home games and get yourself off to a good start in the Champions League. And Arsenal don't want to go out of this in the group stages, because that'll be a big embarrassment. So a home game, they're going to get there. They're going to stick their first team out, and they're going to go all out for the win, because it's a vital 3 points on the board.
That's true.
Let's hope they get injuries, man.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't like people like but let's hope they drop dead, man. Let's hope they catch the body, bro. Let's be honest with you. That's the only way, man. If for some odd reason, one of the defenders gets bodied up, hopefully that's one less defender that we go against, isn't it?
That's Saliba.
Yeah, Saliba and Gabriel now, the combination, right? It's gone back to last season's combination where they're
the same back four as last season. White right, Zinchenko left, and Saliba and Gabriel.
In the middle,
he was messing around with it earlier in the season. And
now he's got
right
back.
back.
I think the time because Gabriel was injured. So I think Gabriel is back now. So that solidifies their defense. But like what TJ says, right? Let's hope maybe one of the PSV strikers crashes into one of their defenders. Doesn't matter which one, right? and then that'll weaken their defense, of course.
So obviously, Kulusevski got moved into the middle later in the game, etc. So TJ, would you make any changes from last week's side?
Yes, I would. Okay. From the starting lineup, in it, you guys are gonna think I'm crazy, in it, but one of the changes I'm making is Emerson Royal.
When you put Porro,
I'm devilish. For Porro, yeah, I'm devilish, isn't it? I'm devilish. Emerson for Porro. Yeah, Porro's been playing well in it, yeah. Don't get me wrong in it, yeah. There's nothing bad about Porro in it, yeah. I don't want you to think I hate Porro, but I feel like Emerson Royal offers more defensively, and we need more a defensive structure right now. Against Trossard, yeah, 100%. We can't be bombing up. That's the problem, innit? This game, innit, yeah, is the only game where I'm going to say to Postecoglou, you can't be pushing forward because our defense is leaky, innit? You know, we saw it against...
Ange Ball don't do that. Ange Ball goes all the way up, right? We will
but that's the problem. Against Arsenal, against a team like Arsenal, they will kill us.
Yeah, we're waiting for that to happen, see, right?
So the changes I would make is obviously
anyone else.
He will never go defensive. I tell you, he'll put out the same 11 players that started against Sheffield.
No changes, Eugene.
No changes. It will be the same. And
would you make any changes though, Eugene?
Honestly, no, not at this moment, because if I see the way that they ain't gonna play the low block, right? So it will give Solomon and Son a chance to run against them. That's how I see it, right? And the only thing is that my biggest fear is that if we do change with Emerson Royal there, that will actually hamper our attacking capabilities because Emerson Royal can't attack. He can't put the pass for the attack. For the defense side, right, we will have to depend a lot on VDV and Romero to chase back because we play on a high line. The ball over the top is always our problem. And let's see how we defend that. And if we don't, then we'll concede a couple of goals and hopefully we'll score a couple of goals along the way. But if we do sit back and let them come at us, where's our intensity then that we've been talking about? There's no intensity when people come at you, right? We have to go at people for intensity. So that's how I see it. I don't think Royal play.
Carl, do you see him making any changes? Would you make any changes, or?
I can actually see him bringing Royal in, but I tell you what I'd do is I'd play Royal and Porro on that side and put Porro in Kulusevski's position, fully more for a little bit more pace, and the fact that, you know, Porro's actually got a really good delivery on him and in attacking positions, good going forward as well. So, you know, I don't think he will make changes, maybe other than Royal in for Porro. And I guess that will be where we really will see if Ange is prepared to go toe-to-toe with his full beliefs on attacking, because if he is, then he won't make any changes whatsoever.
Of course, yeah.
But if it was me and I was thinking, what could I do? What could I do that maybe shores us up a little bit more? I'm bringing Emerson in on that right-hand side, but maybe sticking Porro in Kulu's position and just saying, listen, I'm going to double up my strength on that side of the pitch defensively, but also still give some good options going forward, because Porro is pretty decent when he's going forward, crossing wide, you know, shooting. And that would be harsh on Kulusevski after the finish that he had to the game. But sometimes you got to do what you got to do, haven't you, in certain games? But I don't think he will make any changes. Right. I think he'll probably stick. And like I say, he'll stick to his belief that this is the way I want to play. And this is what these players need to get used to this system. So there's no point me chopping and changing it just because we think we're coming up against a team that might be able to hurt us as much as we can hurt them.
Interesting.
Can I just mention a player's name?
Sure.
Obviously, I don't see him playing. I don't see him starting, right? But what's your opinions about Brendan Johnson? His little cameo that he had at Sheffield United. Do you think there's a chance of him coming on?
I think he won't leave Kulusevski out, so I don't think Johnson will play.
I think he'll come off the bench.
Yeah, not he won't start.
But I think we're going to see him gradually integrated into that side, and I see him more as a rotation player as the season goes on. You know,
just for the beginning, I guess. The first season, maybe he'll just be a rotation, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people, it's interesting about Brendan Johnson. Is anyone else reminded by, like, he reminds you of Dele Alli at all? Because that's the impression I got with the first 5 minutes of game on.
Nah. I think you've lost your mind, brother.
No. Not center enough. He plays too wide.
Okay. Now I'm going to score predictions. Carl, you're first up.
Unfortunately, I think we could, I don't think we're going to get anything out of this game, unfortunately. But like I said earlier, if we just as long as we put up a fight, even if we lose 2-1, 3-1, but we've given them a bloody nose, then I'll come away happy. If we've just got brushed aside 3-0 and we don't even cause them any problems through the game, then I'll be really disappointed. So 2-3-1 for me, unfortunately, to them lot. Yeah.
Eugene?
I see a 2-2 draw.
Okay. TJ, are you sticking by the 1-0?
I'm sticking with my guns, I know I'm flip-flopped, but I'm sticking with what I said from before. 1-0 Tottenham, man. I think this is the year for us to kill them. I feel, Ange is creating some special dynamic in this team, And you know what? It's not even just Ange. It's not even just Tottenham players that have said Ange Postecoglou has been really good, Joe Hart, he went to Celtic, innit? Listen, he's not an amazing goalkeeper, but I would recommend you guys watch his little interview about what he said about Postecoglou. I can't break it down. It's a long interview, but he basically said Ange Postecoglou is a good technical manager, and he installs a good spirit to the dressing room. And he basically went on to saying how he helped him deal with a lot of family stuff and all of this and that, But I just feel like this is the year for us to actually get a result against Arsenal, And who knows, man? If we win 1-0, that'll be good, man.
Well, if you guys, don't think my friends are actually watching this. There's a possibility I might be watching the game on Sunday with 2 Arsenal fans and me and another Spurs fan. It'll go around someone's house. It's a very big possibility. So I hope we get some sort of result. Otherwise, it's going to kind of into carnage.
100%, man.
But I unfortunately predict. I think Arsenal are going to win 4-2. And the reason I say this is because I saw the Man United game, and that kind of scared me a lot because Man United had that game. So there was a very strong possibility they're going to win that game at some point, and they didn't take it.
Wait, you said 4-2?
Yeah, 4-2 to Arsenal. Yeah,
bro, you're saying he's gonna kill us. You're saying Arsenal's gonna kill us.
Yeah.
Ross Clark, man, you don't have no hope,
mate. Do you know what times I've had hope going into this game and get absolutely battered?
You know, that's 4 goals out in our net. You know that will create serious drama.
The problem is in these games is sometimes these goals happen like very quickly. Like it just happens so quick, and it can happen out of nothing. Like you can be 2-0 up at the Emirates, and suddenly you can see like 2 or 3 in the space of like 10-15 minutes. It's just this game is just I hate it so much. I probably won't sleep on Saturday night very well because I just don't like watching the game. Like with the home game, I'm different because you feel like it actually have an effect on the game. When you're watching it away from home, I think it's worse. Like I actually really don't feel good about it at all, ever. So before we part ways, Carl, where can we find you next?
Yeah, that Spurs podcast, mate. So we're starting to now knock some regular stuff out. So, be looking to give you guys a shout at some point as well. So, yeah, that's where you can find us. You get over there and give us a subscribe and everything.
Go subscribe to that Spurs podcast if you haven't already. And Eugene, where can we see you next?
I might be doing a show on Friday. Getting some of the guys from the other clubs together and chat about the previews and reviews of the week and the past week and the following week coming. Right, and guys, just to let you guys know, Aaron Lennon is in Malaysia, coming to Malaysia soon.
Wow.
So
one Aaron Lennon.
Yeah. If I'm lucky enough, I'll be doing a meet and greet with him. Right, and I'll be doing a video, and let's see when.
Yeah, if anyone's watching, you haven't seen the Danny Rose video.
I had a Danny Rose video on my channel too. Right, go and have a look at what he said. Right, so Danny Rose is.
Danny Rose.
Yeah, and we're getting Aaron Lennon coming this Sunday. I think he's our cable provider is doing the North London Derby, so.
Oh really?
Yeah. So they will bring in another Spurs.
When do you mean your cable provider? What do you mean by that? Sorry, if you don't
ask. Where I get all my EPL matches from?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's my cable provider, right? So. Yeah.
Oh, is Rose going to be one of the presenters?
Sky Sports and all that. That's basically what he said.
Something like Sky Sports. It's called Astro Super Sports.
Oh,
right?
All right, okay.
Like
I think when your cable provider, like your internet provider, I was like,
yeah, that is my Sky Sports.
Okay. And TJ, where can we find you next?
You can find me on this channel. I'm now a regular member. My channel died, didn't it? So I will. I say this every single time. I will start posting. It's just you have to have the motivation. Sometimes the motivation's not there. But I'm going to be doing a show with you next week, right? Well, Friday.
Oh, so I need to talk to you guys about that because it might have to be on a different day now. So I need to speak to Marlon about this too because something's happened. I got a message from work. Something might change. So
cool. Whatever. It's not a big deal, innit?
So it might be tomorrow. It might be Saturday, hopefully, or tomorrow. But I need to speak to Marlon about it first. So. Yeah.
Tomorrow, I can't lie to you, innit? Yeah, if it's tomorrow, FIFA's out, my guy. You're gonna be catching me playing FIFA and talking to you, Yeah, no. But what I was saying, you can find me on Spursy Talks. That's my channel, and obviously this channel here. I'm usually just a regular on here, innit?
Yeah, TJ's always here, and the good thing about TJ is he's very brutally honest about what he said. Thanks. Yeah.
Yeah. So listen, I just want to make a disclaimer. Yeah, anytime I call you drunk, you're smoking something, you're crazy. That's nothing against you, innit? Yeah. I might call you drunk. Like, how many times have I called you drunk?
He calls you drunk.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but that's just my character. My character's just always been like that.
We're not woke on the channel, so it's fine.
Yeah, don't worry.
Yeah, 100%, man. I just want to make a disclaimer out there, just in case anybody thinks I have a problem with anybody.
We're beefing, or something like that again. Yeah,
100%. No.
Because basically, was it for like 2 weeks we didn't do a stream? Everyone was like, "Are you beefing?"
Yeah, 2 weeks of not being on the stream with you. I got messages saying, "Oh, what? Are you and him not doing shows? Do you guys have problems? What's going on?"
Yeah.
So yeah, just disclaimer. I'm just like that, man. I'm a really lovely guy. Just
he doesn't
if you guys
mean it
want to
like
drop me a
malicious.
message,
He just says this
feel
because
free
it's just how it is, isn't it? It's just I don't take it personally. If anyone watches, I don't take it personally. I just think it's like it's just taking the piss. Do you know what I mean? It's just like it's just yeah. Anyone else want to say anything before we end the stream?
And as always, leave you out.
Yeah, leave you out, baby, man.